Hey, what's going on, guys? KuizyFlipz here. Today I'm going to talk about learning tricks. I specifically want to talk about these two categories, exposure and repetition. Because the secret to learning basically anything requires just those two, exposure and repetition. You expose yourself to a skill that you want to learn, and through repetition, you get better at it. So when you learn tricks and you don't know how this knife operates, obviously it has two freely swinging handles with a blade attached to it, but there's a learning curve when it comes to trying to figure out how to properly manipulate it. And so obviously you first learn your rollouts. First trick you learn is a double rollout, but you could actually do that infinitely as well as reverse it. And the reverse motion would be kind of called a wrist pass. If you're holding a bite handle, it would be a wrist pass. But you could just continue that roll in motion forever. And then you start to learn fanning. A lot of people just sit here and spin it like this, or do a bit more controlled fan with like exactly 1.5 rotations or something like that, whatever you feel like. But once you're able to roll out and fan, then you could kind of act like you really know what you're doing, and then you're just learning how to like kind of fling it around. And I'm not actually letting go of this handle at all. I'm just manipulating the balisong in any way that I so choose. I'm just sort of flinging around the handle and the blade, but I'm not actually letting go of anything. And obviously you want to get a little fancy and start to learn rollovers, right? And you could just do this simple thumb to index roll repeater, and then you could add in a rollover. And then you could start to add, some other tricks that like fanning or rollouts. So using just those three basic principles, index rollover, thumb rollover, rolling out, rolling in, and fanning. I guess that's a total of 5, but rollouts and roll-ins are the same thing, and index roll and thumb roll are basically the same thing when you think about it. And then you start to get into advanced techniques, or intermediate techniques. 0G index roll to a thumb roll, and together that's called a helix, right? So like that trick itself, the helix, it's actually 2 moves put together, and it's just so common that it has its own name. And you could actually repeat this forever. And once you're able to repeat it, then you can just add more stuff into it, And that's kind of how you start to freestyle, right? You just connect tricks that you already know. First you have to learn those tricks and get them nailed down, and then you just start trying to connect them in ways that you never thought of before. But after a while you reach a wall, and you've learned a certain number of tricks, and you're able to connect those tricks but nothing else, right? And that's where a lot of people might stop, or that's where people get frustrated and they think that they're not very good at flipping, when in actuality they are. The way to overcome that is just to stay creative, try to keep trying to connect those moves in ways you never thought of before. And a good place to find ideas for that is through exposure. Watching people flip on Instagram or YouTube, and really studying what their hands are doing, and try to learn a specific move that they did in a combo. And then once you master that move that you thought looked really cool, then you just apply that to your own freestyles, and you keep developing it over time, and you will create your own style because of it. Because you'll end up just performing the tricks that you really like, that you really think look cool and feel fun to do, and then you get really good at it, and then you have your own style. And it just takes repetition, like sit there and practice one trick until you can do it mindlessly. I always like to learn in loops, meaning if there's a trick, like I was trying to learn this Z choker to reverse shortstop for a long time, and I was just trying to figure out a way to loop it. But every time I land here, I'm resetting back to that original position, and I could try it again. Another combo I was trying to learn a while back looked like this. Right? And all it is just like twirling in between the fingers, but it's a repeater nonetheless, right? I just find a way to repeat a technique that I'm trying to learn so that I get better at that technique. I don't like twirling. It makes my hands so stiff. I'm really into fanning and rollovers and aerials. I love aerials. Shit. But yeah, I know I've been pretty inactive lately. I'm just trying to get my shit together because I'm about to move out soon. But as soon as I do, I plan on trying to really expand this YouTube channel, make it what I want it to be. So every ounce of support is greatly appreciated. I read all your comments. I appreciate all your likes and all of you guys who've subscribed already. I really want this channel to bloom and for this unique hobby to reach more and more people and get more people excited to flip and excited to mess around with this thing.